All right, guys, trying this out again, see if we can get it working. Just trying to check this out. Trying to figure out whether or not I can get the platform to link up to YouTube because the the Facebook eliminated allowing us to link StreamYard directly to
Trying to
Facebook.
figure out what.
So just trying to check that out, see if I can get it going. It looks like it's working, but I'm not positive if it's a long-term thing. And once again, just waiting to see if anybody pops in here through. You still have to go through StreamYard to get in. Um, it does look like it's streaming on YouTube. I just checked. So that link will at least get you vision to it. Um, I'm not sure exactly if the StreamYard function will still work the same way that it did before. So that's where we're at. Like I said, waiting to see if anybody pops in to talk a little baseball tonight um, in this new format. I think it should work. Once again, I don't think it will stream back to the page. If you want to watch it after the fact, you'll have to go through the YouTube link. I'm pretty sure it will stay saved there. So, but not sure as well because, once again, I'm experimenting here, trying to get it to work because Facebook decided to be douchey and not allow us to use StreamYard to go that way. So, pretty quiet week, I thought, both in the Bake and Major League Baseball. My team in particular, for at least from my perspective, had an epically bad offensive week. It was so terrible that I didn't even notice that Michael Harris had gone over his last 29 prior to last night's game because it was just par for the course for my team. So I was enjoying a quite spectacular offensive week where it wasn't out of the norm to have collective team batting averages of 100 or 125. So it was pretty great. I really enjoyed it. Today was particularly fun when I realized that I only had 4 hits on the afternoon, midway through the afternoon, and 2 of them were courtesy of Kevin Newman, a desperation fill-in at middle infield because I can't seem to keep a guy healthy there. So pretty awesome. It was pretty exciting. So, but I won't beleaguer the agony of my exciting 12th place team right now. It is interesting though to notice in the standings, I guess, how much chaos there is right now. I think there was. I think I looked this afternoon that the leader was around 117, and there were, I think, 8 teams within 12 points. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Hey, Rob.
Hey, what's going on?
Not much, man. How you doing?
Hey, pretty good. I had to ask you, what is that picture that was on the YouTube? It was of Miss Ohio and Miss Cleveland, and it looked to be some sort of individual in the middle. I don't know what that picture was about. I had to ask it.
That's Bob Feller being a pimp.
Okay.
I don't really know when that happened, but at some point I set that as my Google profile picture. And I don't know how to change it. I don't even know how I did it. But that has been my Google profile picture for at least a decade.
Okay.
You go in the Wayback Machine, and I know why it was. I know where I got that picture from. It was when people were doing the Facebook thing where they were like, hey, I'm going to give you a player to post a picture of.
Okay.
Thing, and someone gave me Bob Feller, and that was the picture that I responded with. And I felt it necessary to keep that picture in my life somehow.
Okay.
So
all right.
I made it as my profile picture. So that would be it. That's one of, for some reason, Bob Feller has a bunch of pictures like that.
Well, but Bob Feller must have been a player.
I know. Must have been. Excellent. But so I wasn't able to give you crap last week. How comfortable are you now having spent $34 on the White Sox long reliever?
Oh, I don't, the free agent dollars, I don't really care. It was, I actually think Keller's got some potential to, wind up and stick in that White Sox rotation, and I don't think he I don't think he's terrible. I don't think he's great, but $30 on somebody who might get 15 to 25 starts, I think that's fine.
He does really only have Chris Flexen as an obstacle, to be fair. So
yeah, no, I didn't mind that at all. I'm curious though about the league. You were talking about how bunched up so many teams are. I'm kind of stunned that I'm in that crew. Is every team just have all sorts of problems? Because my team has countless problems. I don't know how I'm in contention.
I think that, like, if you look at, I didn't really do a deep dive today, but like I was kind of looking, and it seems like almost everybody has a weakness, like a glaring weakness, like something that they're probably going to have to figure out how to fix. But
Right.
if everyone stays that way, then maybe you don't. Maybe you can get away with one bad category, because like I remember noting today that like Benoit, for example, he's up near the top of the standings, but he's got 2.5 points in steals.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, but like almost everyone has a weak link. Like, I was looking at mine and I'm like, I'm doing really well in the counting categories and terrible in the variable categories.
Right.
Like, and that's why I'm sitting in 12th now in the high 80s. But I'm okay with that because no one's running away with this thing.
It's amazing. I kept Henry Davis. I kept Royce Lewis. I kept Alex Lang, and all of them either sucked from the start, got hurt right away. Alex Lang was a closer I kept who wasn't ever a closer.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't keep anybody that I'm using right now. Not a single one.
Yeah.
Except for Westberg.
Yeah.
My most expensive player was Paul Goldschmidt. My second most expensive player that I drafted was Mike Trout.
Yeah.
The third most expensive player that I drafted was Joe Musgrove. This is the team that I kept and I drafted, and I'm in 5th place. I don't see how this is even possible.
Yeah, I mean, but like I was saying early in the broadcast, I'm somehow 15th in batting average. Like, and that means that there are 5 teams that are worse in batting average than I am, and I'm only 3 points away from being in the middle of the pack. And
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I literally, at one point last week, I had 7 guys on my team in my regular lineup that were playing regularly that over their last 7 days had a minimum of 25 at bats during that period of time. And none of them had more than 2 hits. None of them. And those are my good players.
Yeah.
Like that's Michael Harris and Bryce Harper and Jose Ramirez, and so my bad players were propping up my batting average last week. So,
yeah, it's an interesting batting average. I know back in what was it 10 years ago in Cage, Davis was hitting 247 every year, and we looked at that as being like, oh man, he's going to bring your average down. But 247 nowadays, that's pretty good.
Well, 259 is leading the category right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like if you're hitting collectively 245, you're in the top 8.
Yeah.
And that's not good. Yeah, but batting average is wild because like I like I said, I had so many bad days last week, and then like yesterday I hit 425. Like, where did this come from? So, but yeah, I've taken way too many chances with my pitching right now. And maybe if I settle down now that I've actually got good strikeout numbers and stop gambling so much. But I'm so injured that, and I hate using middle relievers. I know some people claim that that's the way to do it, but I'm a win whore. So
yeah, I'm in the same boat. I should be playing Leiter or Robertson in my rotation instead of like Sixto Sanchez, but Sixto's got 2 starts this week, so guess who I'm using?
That's something that, like, I drafted Sixto Sanchez in like the 14th round of the taxi squad draft because I was all out of ideas.
Yeah.
The fact that he actually is now like starting blows my mind.
Well, he's technically starting. It's still kind of a blended
He
opener.
won't last yeah, he's not. He's probably not going to last long enough to qualify for a win, even if he does pitch.
Yeah, and he's going to throw 4 terrible innings. So
yeah,
it's probably a terrible idea. I should probably go ahead and switch, but I'm not gonna.
yeah, stubborn. That's the way we like it.
Yep.
Yeah. So good stuff. But yeah, so it's been like I said, it's just been weird. It's been a very strange. Like, I was talking to somebody about this the other day. I think I have 4 cash leagues, and the bake has been a disaster for me. And one of the other leagues where I thought I was going to be awesome in was the league where I had Spencer Strider anchoring my pitching staff, and that team's an absolute tire fire. Like, I mean, it on paper on draft day, I'm like, I don't know how this team doesn't win or place, and I'm in like 11th place right now. It's just been like everything that could happen bad has happened to that team. But in my head-to-head league, I'm barely paying attention to it, and I think I'm going to do it again this week. The last 3 weeks, I've won 10-0 shutouts.
Whew.
Extremely hard to do. So, like, but in the bake, if something bad can happen to my team, it will. Like, I almost had a hissy fit today when I found out that TJ Friedel got hit in the hand with a pitch. I'm like, you have to be kidding me. Apparently he's fine, but I'm like, if he broke something, I'm gonna lose my mind, because I didn't realize he was coming back from the rehab assignment so quickly, so I didn't get him in my lineup. And probably one of my weaknesses is stolen bases. He stole 2 bases in the last 4 games. So it's like, God dang it, I need to get him up. And then I saw today he got hit by a pitch and taken from the game. I'm like, you have to be kidding me. Seriously, he plays 4 games and he's going to go right back down again.
Are teams just quicker to put players on the DL? Because I've had a couple of players that they're missing days for just personal reasons, and they don't come back for like a week. They're out for a day or 2, but next thing you know, they end up on the IL. But they come back right away, like the minimum. It happened with Musgrove. It's happened with like Sano. Chris Bryant apparently has menopause or something. I don't know what's going on with him.
Yeah, I think it has a little. The thing that's been getting me weirded is that, like, guys are going on rehab assignments for like a day.
Yeah.
And then they're back. It's like, usually when a guy goes on especially a pitcher, when a guy goes on a rehab assignment, it might be 2 outings or something. And this has just been, it's been really strange, because it was like with Pete Fairbanks, they were like, okay, 1 inning, you're ready, let's go. I'm like, okay then. But so that, I think that's been a little weird, but it just seems like, I think you could be right. I think it's a lot. What a lot of things that I've been noticing is teams have been like, we're not sure if we're going to put him on the DL, and then they retro him.
Right.
And then it seems faster, because in reality, maybe the injury happened on Thursday.
Right.
A couple of days off on the active roster. Then they put him on the 10-day DL, and it seems like he should be gone for another 3 or 4 days. But the retroing causes him to come back a little bit quicker than you think. So, but it's almost an everyday thing, it seems like, where somebody notable is getting hurt. It's just like, how badly does it affect your team, if at all?
What did you think of Collins' trade?
I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it was one of those things when I looked at it. I'm going to pull it up now because I don't remember the exact specifics, but
it was everybody that's hurt.
Yeah.
Or one player that's hurt, but it's coming back soon.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, I mean, I don't know. Like,
yeah, it's Ronnie Mauricio, Blaze Alexander, Colin Ray, Lubob, Chase Burns and Corey Bradford for Matt McClain.
Yeah, see, I don't really believe in anything Colin Ray is doing, and I think the sneaky name in there is Ronnie Mauricio. I think he might be something,
Right.
but like I said, I think that's kind of sneaky. But like I also think he probably could be gone for the entire year. But he is a hashtag $6, so you never know. But I like him, so I thought that was kind of interesting. But being a White Sox fan, I'm also fairly confident that Luis Robert might come back for 4 games and then go right back on the DL again.
Right.
So I mean, I get it. It's this was an interesting roll of the dice for a guy, obviously Matt McClain, who isn't going to be there. So it could help him. I mean, but this could also be
it could just be a bunch of guys that you're just moving around.
Yeah.
Everybody's hurt. So I thought it was interesting.
Yeah. I always pause when I get when the trade notification comes through. I'm like, who screwed who? So
we had the Julio Rodriguez trade a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it's really worked out well for Paul. He's immediately propelled himself up the standings. The Devers trade notwithstanding.
Yeah, but I have noticed that he's already had several injury scares inside of the guys that he's gotten. Turned out Luzardo was okay, but now Swanson's on the DL. So, we're rolling through it pretty good. And, of course, doing exactly what he expected it to do. As soon as Paul traded Julio Rodriguez, he starts hitting. So
yeah, he hit one out today.
Yeah, he should have hit 2 out, to be honest with you. He missed it. He missed the second one by about 6 inches because I was watching that game and I actually thought it hit the yellow line, but on replay it didn't. So, but no, he had good at bats today because I was watching a lot of that Mariners game because it was a Luis Castillo start. So, and I'm used to the Mariners saying, "Oh, it's Luis Castillo day. We're not going to score any runs." So, but they actually provided today, so that was nice. But yep. So no, that was that I did laugh when I saw that, but I also laughed when I saw that trade because Paul got Jose Leclerc in it, and I don't think he realized how terrible Jose Leclerc had been. So if he really wanted Jose Leclerc, he should have probably just waited until he got cut.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fight. So the people at the top of the standings, a lot of them don't have closers.
Yeah.
Or at least multiple closers. I have MacArthur just dragging my saves category, just hoisting it on his back. He's already got 9 saves, which is amazing.
When did you get him in trade or did you get him in the draft?
I drafted him, I think, in the 3rd or 4th round of Taxi.
Yeah, that was a good pull. I remember whenever it happened, I was like, yeah, that probably is going to work out because I didn't believe at all in Will Smith, but I fumbled a little bit in that Taxi Squad draft because there was a couple of guys I wanted and they got taken away from me just before I was prepared to pick them. And I think MacArthur was one of those guys and McGill was another.
Mm-hmm.
And now it looks like he's kind of taken over that Milwaukee job. So
I
wouldn't be in the horrible situation that I've been in with closing. But it is.
Yeah, I didn't have any closer besides Lang. I didn't believe in. So I went in the Taxi. Really, I was going to draft a bunch of middle relievers. I actually drafted Brash in the 2nd round.
Yeah.
And that was the one I really had faith in. Of course, he's out for the year now. But he was the one I was really having faith in. And then I got MacArthur, I think, on the wraparound. And then I think there's like Brian Abreu, a couple of others that I picked up.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really anything other than I just went to this little chart that I have that says what closers are next in line and which ones are behind shaky closers. And I think MacArthur was just, one of the top backups that I had.
I think that's probably a somewhat reasonable way to go about it. I was mad at myself because usually I ferret somebody out in a Taxi Squad that ends up being some sort of a save source, stumbling into something at some point in time. I did a terrible job of that this year. So, but I can't really get too mad about it because it seems like every single guy I picked in the taxi squad draft, I've either traded away at this point or they got hurt. So I tried to draft some pitching depth, and all of the pitching depth that I drafted in the taxi squad draft is currently on the DL. I'm not joking. Every single one of them. They're all on the DL.
Did you get any other feedback on the baseball trip?
I didn't, and that was why I was so pliable to making adjustments, because I'm perfectly willing to do it myself.
Right.
But I'd rather have somebody along for company.
Right.
So, yeah, so like the revision that I sent you, I'm probably down with doing that.
Okay.
So,
yeah, if that would be the trip, then that would be fine. Like I sent you a message that said, I don't even know if we would need to do the first St. Louis game since we're hitting them on the way back. I know we're driving right through St. Louis to get down there.
The only stupid reason I have two reasons for including that one. Free Larry Walker bobblehead.
Okay.
And then the other one is just to kind of break up the fact that we'd be in the car for 14 hours.
Right.
That's really the top of it.
Yeah, so, I think that's what it was.
Yeah. Yep. So that, I mean, in a nutshell, and it's a 3:00 game. If it was an earlier game, I'd be like, no, screw it. But you know, that puts me in this situation where it's like, okay, we can play around with that. And it would also be a situation where it would be like, okay, if this is a dog game, we can just step out in the 8th and get going on the road a little bit. So, but
how dumb of an idea would this be? Since we're going to St. Louis down and through St. Louis on the way back, if we end up doing it, if I just drive to St. Louis, park at the hotel we're staying at, and just leave it there for the next couple of days, we drive back, we stay in the same hotel on the way back up. And that way I'm not coming to your house the first day, or you're not coming to mine and adding 3 hours of a drive.
Yeah, we can talk about that. That doesn't sound unreasonable. Like I said, if you're comfortable with doing that, like leaving it there for however long it would be.
It's actually just a couple of 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, it's not.
In the hotel. I mean, if you parked in a hotel, it's not a hotel parking lot. It's not. Nobody's going to notice, I don't think.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's probably not a terrible idea, to be completely honest with you, because you're driving against the grain to come to me.
Right, and if it was the other way around, you'd be driving against grain to come to me. So
yeah, that's definitely true. So, yeah, that might make more sense. But yeah, as far as driving, my vehicle's almost practically brand new. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, it's only got like 18,000 miles on it, so it's not. It's fairly new. Let's put it that way. So I figured I'd just drive.
Yeah. To this day, the newest car I ever bought was back in 2006 when I bought the 2004 Stratus. I have not bought a newer car. I mean, it's obviously I bought a car that's newer than 2004, but like in terms of just being 2 or 3 years old.
Yeah.
I think though I'm starting to get kids out of the house now. The next car I purchase might be a newer one.
There you go. I mean, you got to keep like a van-like vehicle for your huge clan there.
I drove the hell out of that Stratus.
Yeah. So, but other than that, I think it'll probably work out fine. It's so weird now. Like with my job, like in the past, I'd feel guilty about leaving that early because the AA baseball or the 3A 4A baseball finals aren't over.
Mm-hmm.
But I sent my supervisor a message, and he was like, "Take your vacation whenever the hell you want to take your vacation, dude." So I'm like, "Wow, this is really different than what I'm used to." So yeah. And I'll only end up taking like 3 days of vacation to do this, to be completely honest with you. So that's fine by me. So, and I also plan on doing this very, very much by the seat of my pants. So
right.
Just in terms of lodging and tickets and just whatever.
Yeah.
I can't imagine any of these are going to be where we're concerned about sellouts. So.
I mean, the Royals are going to be in contention.
They're burning in there, man. You can't stop the Royals. So, are there any exciting free agents on your list this week?
I have an $11 bid as my highest bid,
Wow,
and I don't even remember who it is.
nice. I like that. I have bids. I have claims in on 13 different players because I have.
13. Oh gosh.
Well, I have 4 roster spots open, and I hate having.
Okay.
I have.
Okay.
I hate having empty roster spots. It's a. It's a little bit of an obsession with me, but at least 9 of these guys I really don't want. I'm gonna be honest.
I it's all offense for me. I've got 4 claims out and they're all on offense.
There's only one player that I actually want, and then like
Yeah.
and then like 6 guys that are just gonna be spot fillers.
Yeah, there's one guy that's been on my list for 3 straight weeks. He's the guy I got an $11 bid on. And I'm upset that like the top 4 guys that I bid on last week were claimed. He was my 5th. I
Yeah,
remember being a little bit disappointed. Like I wish I wouldn't have got one of my top 4 and got him instead. But I just felt like I needed to have one of those 4, and I got all of them instead. So, um,
yeah. I
and then
got
I'm not going to get him this week probably because I didn't get him last week.
I got hoisted by my own rules petard last week where I uh, forgot to like move a guy off the DL that wasn't on the DL anymore, so the system wouldn't let me claim the amount of empty roster spots that I had. So that pissed me off because I'm like, God damn it, I'm the one that yells at people all the time about shit like this, and then but like the player that ended up not being able to claim was a big pile of shit anyway. So what difference does it make?
I used to get tripped up on the only thing that would trip me up would be like I'd have a claim in for claim this guy, drop this guy. And
Right.
then my second claim would be claim this guy, drop the same guy. But if I already dropped that first guy,
Yeah.
that second claim wouldn't go through. And I hated having to make the same claim 100 times. So I just drop all my guys on Sunday.
Yeah, I started doing that too for the same reason. It was like I would always get annoyed with that too, where like you had to do the waterfalls and then you had to claim,
Yeah.
on top of that, and that was like, this is stupid. I don't like doing this way. So, yeah, it was. Yeah, so usually I'll end up having 2 or 3 spots available, but yeah, I don't think there's.
Did I start Otto Lopez or what's his name? Bouchard from Colorado?
You have Bouchard now? Oh yeah,
Yes.
that's right. I yelled at Dan because Dan pestered me for like 2 weeks to acquire Bouchard in a trade because he really wanted Bouchard. I mean, he was bothering me like nonstop about this, like Jimmy levels of pestering. And
And then he just traded him to me for
and
nothing.
then I traded him to him, and literally, I think it was less than 48 hours. He traded him to you. I was like, "What are you doing?"
I don't remember what I gave. It was nothing. It was nothing that I
Oh,
gave him.
I know, because I mean, I admitted that I was exploiting the situation because I don't think he's any good. So for some reason, Dan was really interested in him. So what really pissed me off about that whole scenario was he had sent me an offer. Um, we had went back and forth for a while, and then he sent me an offer that I kind of liked, but I couldn't quite make myself do it. And then I tried to tweak it and maybe squeeze a little bit more out of it, and he turned it down. And then like 4 hours later, I went back to the original offer and re-offered him the same thing that he offered me, and he turned it down. What are you doing? Like he claimed that he didn't offer that to me, and I'm like, you are a liar. I'll show you the offer. And like that was so annoying because, and like, I really wish that he would have done it too, because like I would have been a lot better off from it because it involved me getting Willie Adames back, and
Okay.
it basically would have improved my situation a little bit. But yeah, that really just bugged the crap out of me. So I was mad about it, but eventually I ended up.
I see that you dropped Kevin Newman.
Yes, like even though he was active this week, because it looked, what we were talking about rehab assignments earlier, it looks like Zach Geloff's going to come back next week. So I would rather have an injured Zach Geloff in my lineup with a chance of coming up than continuing to play Kevin Newman. So, although he did get 2 hits today, so I was very excited about that because Kevin Newman is trash.
A nice farewell from Kevin Newman.
And I might have gotten two of the very few hits he gets all season. So good work.
All right. So they should be processing here pretty soon. My $11 bid was on that A's in middle infielder.
Oh yeah, that
Max something or other.
The weird Schluterman guy.
Yeah.
Surprised it hasn't processed yet. It's not showing up on my transaction. There they go.
Well, I got Travis Janikowski.
Party on.
Yeah. I did not get anybody else. Unless they're still processing.
They must be still processing here. Oh, I'm on the second page. That would be why. Yes, I got Shelby Miller. I'm excited about that.
Kevin Newman immediately picked up by Jimmy.
Enjoy that experience.
Jimmy also claimed Max Schumann.
Someone bid on Jose Urena, $15 on Jose Urena. That won't work.
Oh, Jimmy went 12. They got him for 12.
Oh, that stinks. I put a $7 bid on Jalen Beeks, and I lost it to a $7 bid from someone that was lower than me in the standings.
Oh, man. Yeah.
That bites. So now I still have Adrian Hauser on my roster. I don't like that. That's no good. Wow. $11 for Jacob Stallings. The backup catcher in Colorado getting some love this week. Gotta like it. Added 4 players, spent no dollars. Good job, guys. On the cheap. And if Jalen Beeks ends up actually being the closer in Colorado, I'm going to be pissed as hell. So, all right. Well, it looks like we're not going to get any more activity tonight. So, I'm going to call her an evening. All right, brother. We'll talk to you later. All right, bye.